Hello folks, welcome to this video and let's talk a little bit about WRC but through the lens of another series, and that is TCR. Now, TCR World Tour finished last week. Norbert Michelis took the title from Erlache by 10 points and Rob Huff was in third. But that was a championship battle that had gone down to the wire. If you were following any of it at all, it was quite fun to see it going over the course of the season. And it was a good way to replace what we had with WTCR in a way. Because WTCR had such a drop-off with people competing. After all, Link & Co had gone on a boycott, and they had been dominating the series. And what this did, whilst meaning there was a world championship in a way, it meant that they could use the best of the regional series. So the first two rounds, each of two races, were in TCR Europe. That was in Portimao and at Spa. Then there was one at Vallelunga that was part of the Italian festival before they had another round with Europe at the Hungaroring. Then they went to the proper kind of World Tour. You had 2 rounds in Latin America. You had 2 rounds in Australia. And then they wrapped up the season in Asia with Macau. And that meant a 9-round season with 20 races the way it was split up. Now, I don't know whether or not it was the best idea to have, 3 races in each of the Australian ones, whereas everyone else got 2. But there was obviously a reason why they did that. I think it's probably to do with the TCR Australia format. It would be a bit like, for example, if they did a round in Britain as part of the BTC. I know that's a completely different rule set, but it's like if you did that and then they had 3 rounds with them because the BTC has 3 rounds. One of the things I do like about this, though, is it showcases a lot of the local talent. So you can see a lot of teams. If you look at the Wikipedia entry, you can see so many different entries for it. Because a lot of teams did do full season entries. Link & Co had their full season entries. Of course, Vivish and Rob Huff were season-long entries as well. And on top of that, people like Michelis were full season entries for WRC Hyundai and Squadra Corsa. The same kind of outfit that brought Hayden Paddon to the ERC glory this season. And that's, well, I think that's a good model to go off of. Have this kind of world tour. Because it's really helped TCR, who weren't able to get a lot of full season entries. And what it means is, whilst 15 people qualified for the world final, well, automatically qualified for it, at the same time you had, well, 59, 60, how many? 59 or 60 people. You had 60 people score points in the season. You had a bunch of other people who didn't score points for various different reasons, not qualifying, not starting, withdrawing. But I think most people ended up scoring points over the course of the season because they were showing up to 1 or 2 rounds. And the question is, where could this be transferred over to? And I can think of one that could be, and well, it's in the background, the WRC. Now, why do I think this should be transferred over to the WRC? Well, it's been like they kind of did it before. When they did their rotation systems. They've done a couple of these. I think the most prevalent one, at least for my memory, is 94, 95, and 96. It wasn't necessarily popular because, of course, 96 didn't have the RAC, 94 didn't have Spain, 95 didn't have Finland. And what it means is there's no WRC event that's been in every single season as well, I believe. Because, yeah, the ones that did feature in pretty much every season were Finland and the rally in Britain until, well, 2020. And now it's only Finland that's kept the streak going. But again, what it would mean is you would have all of these other different championships and cups that would form up as part of it. And this is probably part of my obsession that I've had now for well over 2 years, since before the hybrid era started, that we should have Rally 2s with the hybrids bolted on, or just have Rally 2 cars as top classes, because I see the World Rally cars as Group B in their final generation, and then what we've got with the hybrids almost as kind of Group S. I mean, you can look at Japan and you can see how many local stars came out and competed. You can look at Kenya and see it as well. And you can look at how well the ERC does when it has people showing up for all of these different regional events when they make up part of the national series. I think that's the best way for rallying to go. It reduces the cost in a way, especially if you can put in more cost caps, though I believe the cost caps that were supposed to be brought in for Rally 3 haven't really been abided to. I think it's supposed to be €100,000 per car, and You can see Rally 3 examples of Fiestas that are being resold at nearly 120 grand. But yeah, it's something that WRC and other series really should bear in mind as well. Because what it means is you can showcase the best of all of these regional championships. It means you can have slightly longer regional championships in a way. But, I mean, you can still keep costs down by saying, well, the ERC could be 10 rounds, but still your best 6 scores count towards it. What I kind of am talking about here, then, is a plan in which you have, instead of the 14 World Rally Championship rounds, and I think 14 is, not as absurd as F1 with 23 or 24. Definitely not as absurd as NASCAR with its 30-odd. It could be a way forward to bringing the rounds down, and especially when you see the amount of effort they're putting in because of wider professionalisation of the sport, and how young stars such as Callum Pera, granted he's been driving rally cars for 15 years despite the fact he's 23, when they're saying that there's so much effort that goes into it, when you hear reports from drivers such as Sordo saying, yeah, it's just not got the same kind of atmosphere to it, it's a lot more intense, I think you've got to find ways to lower that intensity. But as always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.